Hello.
How are you?
How am I? Trying
I
to
don't know.
think.
Why didn't you?
Man, uh, I don't know. I'm all thrown up. But I'm okay. This is I guess our first podcasting boo-boo
Yeah.
where we had to or having to re-record an episode because it didn't record correctly. So I guess that's good. Within like 20 episodes, we only had one recording issue.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
We did have to record the first episode like 4 times, but that was because we weren't confident.
Yeah. That was a scary moment. I was like shaking, like, okay, first episode. And then after that, it got so much easier. But
So what's going on with you?
my hair is turning orange. I mean, kind of not really anymore, but I fixed the problem last week. It is from my water. It's very high iron. And so it causes your hair to turn like super orange. And I'm like, yeah, so we got that fixed. With like this huge iron filter. It's actually pretty fancy, but yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. Like just to like process, okay, our water isn't like good for you to be drinking, cooking with, showering with, and you need to get it fixed. So, yeah. And then we also cut Axel's hair at home. Like we just took like the beard trimmer that Austin has and gave him a little mullet. It was just like
Oh
too much
yeah.
by his ears, but it's not even by any means. So, correction haircut in the future
Was he
coming.
like touching his ears or
No, he didn't
hair or
move at
something?
all. What? He did get like annoyed of it because it like curls under his ears, but like I could tell he was always like pushing it back. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that was our exploration. How about you? What's going on with you?
I took Eleanor camping. So me and Rob so my family goes camping with like my mom's girlfriends from like high school and they do this camping trip every year and it's about 2 hours from our house, so it's not super far. And so we took Eleanor there, and it was cute. We got to play on the beach and in the sand, and we took her a little bit into the water. Rob and I didn't bring our bathing suits, so it was oopsies there. But it was so hot. It was like 89 or something, plus like 90% humidity, and we were just like dripping sweat and so uncomfortable. But Eleanor was just like having a blast playing with her cousin. She got to ride her bike. We went for a walk. We played on the beach, and she just loves to be outside. So it was like a dream for her. But me and Rob were like semi miserable the whole time because it was so
Yeah, like
hot.
so hot and humid, and then you're like exhausted. So yeah, I can see that.
Well, and then the funny thing is because we were like, "Oh my gosh, this is way too much." But then we woke up the next morning and it was like 50 outside, like
Yeah,
50 degrees and no humidity. It was just so weird. Like
yeah,
went to bed, it was July, you woke up and it was October. It was very
yeah.
strange.
Literally, it was like night and day between Saturday and Sunday.
Mhm. And then we got to hang out in person
Yeah.
this past weekend. And we got the little kiddos together. And I feel like they did so much better, like interacting. I wouldn't say they like played with each other necessarily, but they definitely like noticed each other's presence and were like showing each other things and had a little bit more like, oh, look, there's another baby or kid here.
Yeah. Yeah, Eleanor just kept saying, "Baby,
Yeah.
baby, baby."
She calls all kids babies.
I was surprised they acknowledged each other.
Mhm. Yeah, Eleanor really liked Axel's cars. So she liked to play with Axel's 1,000 cars. He has a lot. And his little slide thing that you had in your living room. She was all about that.
Oh yeah. Slide is fun. It
And Axel
I'm
liked Pochacho.
Oh, he loved pochacho. We need to get our own pochacho. Clearly.
Just hugging and giving him kisses.
That's how he is though with like every stuffed animal. Like he got this dog from Remy's birthday and he's like does that with the dog and he does that with his baby doll and yeah, he's just a hugger.
Eleanor does that too. Yeah, well, that was fun. It was fun getting them together. We'll have to get them together again. And it's like nice. I mean, we don't get them together a lot, but it's really interesting to see just kind of like the progression of
Mhm.
like what they're like. Yeah, he was walking. I mean, he was just like walking.
He's a runner. He's a runner now.
Yeah. It was like his straight default.
It was like overnight. I remember telling you, I'm like, okay, we're taking some steps, but we're so wobbly and we
Mhm.
can't like stand up on our own. And then just bam, like the next day we were running.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, Eleanor's kind of in that phase where she's like walking wobbly, but really depends on where she is. When she's inside, she tends to crawl more, but when she's like outside, I bet you it has to do with like it's really uncomfortable to crawl on the concrete, so she's like
yeah,
walking the whole time.
yeah, yeah. She
But
definitely favors crawling on the inside. But
mhm.
and
Yeah.
literally, probably in 2 weeks, we'll be talking. She'll just be running like Axel. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. We have to put gates up. Like, I just thought about that the other day. I want to put a gate up, like in our upstairs, like right before the stairs. And then I think we want to put one in the kitchen too. We have to talk
Mm,
about it. We have a bunch, so we have to just figure out where they're going to go. I for sure want one upstairs because she can like dart towards those stairs sometimes. And we're like, "Ugh."
yeah, yeah, yeah. My problem right now is like where he stands up, he's like hitting his head on like the kitchen table or like the things
Mm,
that he could hit his head on. So, because he'll just like
yep.
run into it and be like, "Oh, I hit my head." Okay.
He never seems to like care though. He like bonged himself like 1,000 times yesterday, and he
Oh
was
yeah.
just like, eh.
No, no, and I've tried so hard not to react because like he's a boy, he's gonna fall, he's gonna do like crazy things,
Yeah.
But like I don't react anymore. But in the beginning, it was hard because this was like all the time.
Yeah. It's hard not to react, yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay, well, let's dive in. Welcome, everybody, to the Mom Era podcast. My name is Megan.
And I'm Alyssa.
And today we're diving fork first into the world of realistic meals for toddlers. So, we're not going to really talk about recipes here, just honest, satisfying dishes that kind of work for us and kind of fit into the topics we're going to talk about today. And they also fit into our busy lives.
Yes, and of course, there are all different types of meals that you can provide to your toddlers, but we are here to share some of our tips, strategies, and what we found works best for us realistically in the life of
Mhm.
an everyday mom. So, yeah.
The one thing about having a kid, like before we jump into the topics, one thing about having a child is like, and I think this is just being adult also, the amount of energy and time it takes to figure out what you're feeding you, this little person,
Yes.
like in terms of meals, like, oh my gosh, it is exhausting.
Yeah, in the beginning, you're like trying to figure out when the next bottle is. Did you pump enough? Do you have the next bottle? And then you're like, okay, now we got to figure out snack finger foods, and now we got to figure out food all the time. It's a task. It's a task.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's a lot. I mean, luckily Rob does a majority of that work since he's feeding her. I think lunch is sometimes the hardest, but he's feeding her lunch, every day while I'm working. And then she eats what we eat for dinner. So, and then breakfast we kind of switch on and off, but it's a lot because they don't always eat what you eat. So you have to like prep for more than just you.
Yeah, and now that it's like the three full meals plus snacks, like Axel always wants to eat. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, he's a big eater.
Yeah. But I'm going to dive right into nutritional needs. This was kind of our first topic that we had. There's such an importance on providing a balanced diet. So that includes fruits, vegetables, whole grains, protein, healthy fats for our toddlers. It's important to try to incorporate these as much as you can. There's going to be those lazy dinner nights, or even sometimes you don't even know what to make, or what you're making doesn't your child doesn't like. So I know that this can be a struggle for everyone, especially if they do have a picky toddler. But trying to, even if you're hitting a balanced diet later on in the week, maybe it's only 1 or 2 days that you're not hitting the exact balanced diet.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just add a little perspective on that because it. Like, the balanced diet, I feel like can be very hard to hit, like, every meal, and like you said, like, we have this problem sometimes where we'll cook something and Eleanor won't eat the meat, right? But she'll eat a bunch of fruit at that period. And generally what we try to do is make sure that in terms of balance, she's getting what she needs in like a full day. So, we know she likes eggs and that's a good source of protein. So we'll give her that in for breakfast. If we know we're eating some type of red meat at night that she might not eat. But the nutritional part with a toddler can be super challenging. It's just honestly, you have some battles that you win and some battles that you lose. So that's that's my perspective on that. But then the second topic we wanted to talk about is finger foods. So toddlers love foods that they can pick up and eat with their fingers. I know in the early stages, they're not as proficient with a fork or a spoon. So really having food that they can handle and eat on their own is good to get some of that nutrition. So there are various different type of finger foods that are nutritious and easy for toddlers to handle, such as pieces of fruit, cheese cubes, cooked vegetables, bite-sized portions of whole grain bread or crackers. Eleanor loves soup, and sometimes because it's not as easy to eat, we'll throw some rice in it so she can actually like use her hands and eat it, or use a fork or a spoon in a way that it's easy for her to actually eat. So, like manipulating the foods where it's friendly for them to pick up, grab, eat, that sort of thing.
Yes, and we've done this a lot because we like to do the finger foods. So majority of what Axel does eat is finger foods. He will use a fork and a spoon, but very like he hasn't figured out how to like put it on the fork and get it in his mouth. He's done a lot better like
Mhm.
the past like 2 weeks that we've been offering one every time, but that's where I was lazy and I didn't always offer a fork or a spoon.
Yeah.
Um, and so that was where he was like, just always eating with his hands. But majority this is what we eat because it's just so easy. Or if I can find a bite-sized portion noodles. So like instead of having to cut up a
Yeah.
noodle, I just buy bite-sized noodles. Or we do those scissors, I don't know what they're called, the kitchen scissors. So that's how we cut up
Oh,
his
yeah.
food. And then I was telling you about that, but instead of using a knife every time, it's just easier to just like cut it all. So yeah.
Eleanor's pretty good with the fork and spoon. There was a while there, and there's sometimes, like, when I give her yogurt, sometimes I just wanna, like, feed it to her because if not, it becomes this, like, whole messy ordeal, and she can scoop and get it into her mouth, but, like, dollops of it will drop, you know what I mean? So it just becomes way more messy, but I know it's good for them to, like, be doing that, so I try to let her do it, or at least for half of the meal, I'll try to allow her to do it. But she's been pretty good with using a fork and spoon. But I definitely can tell she prefers finger foods because even if she has a fork or spoon, she'll use it for a while and then just kind of hold on to it and then shove food into
Yeah.
her mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, Axel does the same and just hold it in the air and just, like, eat with the other hand, and I'm
Hmm.
like, "Okay, that defeats the
Yep.
purpose." But another topic would be creative presentation. So, the presentation of the food can make a big difference, I think, in terms of getting the toddler excited about eating. So, it can be like it looks more appealing. It looks more of something that mom and dad are eating, or it just looks fun, right? Obviously, with our toddlers, they're very young to notice if it looks like a bear or Mickey Mouse or star or heart, whatever. Um, but as they get older, that's something that's cool. And I have seen a lot of those, like where people make fruit, like cut up fruit into like cute pictures or whatever. But some ideas for making these meals visually appealing can be arranging food in fun shapes, using colorful plates, utensils. This just reminds me, I don't know, do you remember zoo pails? The plates when we were younger?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes, I had them at Axel's birthday party, but I was obsessed with those. Like that just made me so excited. So, like, zoo pals are a cool way to get your toddler interested in eating too. But also incorporating like you can make it more appealing because it's what mom and dad are eating. And so sometimes I do like start to take a few bites of like what Axel's eating, even though it's the same thing that I'm eating, but he hasn't touched it yet. It's just so that he knows, like, okay, mom's eating this, I can eat it.
Yeah, we don't really do super creative presentations. Though I love watching creators do them on TikTok, like, they get so intense with how they, like, send their kids meals. I think we could get a little bit more creative with it. One thing we do have is Rob bought it was like a bluey plate with a spoon and a bowl, and Eleanor loves it. So when she eats, like, she doesn't necessarily always know that's a plate she has until she, like, gets down to it, and then she's like, "Bingo!" and Bluey, and she gets, like, really excited about it because that's what she's eating off of. And then I did wanna mention, because I saw this TikTok video where a parent was talking about giving your child only one aspect of the meal and then putting the rest as a communal, like, in the middle of the table, and them seeing, like, us, the parents, eating that, and it piques their interest, and they're like, "Ooh, I wanna eat that." So that's something worth trying. We usually give Eleanor everything right up front. At least now at this stage we do. Before we used to only be able to give her like a little bit on her plate or she would like throw it regardless of whether or not she was going to eat it. It's only now that we can like actually give her a full plate of food and she eats, basically all of it or what she's interested in eating. But creative presentation, I'm like excited to do some of this as she gets older because I think it'll have a little bit more of an impact, like the Mickey pancakes. I loved the Mickey pancakes when I was a kid. Like, it was so special to get your little Mickey
Oh yeah,
pancake.
anything like cute and creative, or like doing like the green eggs and ham, or like, food
Yeah.
dyeing things, like that was so cool to me as a child. So,
Mhm. So another tip to help busy moms and parents is meal prepping. So you could batch cook and freeze portions, pre-cut and clean your fruit and vegetables for easy snacking. Planning meals in advance to save time during the week. Even plan meals for grocery shopping because that's sometimes the big issue for us is when we go grocery shopping, we're like, okay, what are we eating for snacks? And sometimes we buy way too much fruit and sometimes we don't buy enough. And then, so meal prepping is a fantastic tip. Now, I'm not great at meal prepping. I would love to be a meal prepper. There was a time in my life in my 20s where I meal prep for myself, but now our lifestyle is a little bit different. I'm home, Rob's home. We're not like leaving the house. So we don't have to like think of things in advance. So it's not really like our mindset or the way we are right now. But this would be so helpful. Something I do want to do is do the pre-washing of the fruit so we can just grab it. I hate washing fruit, and sometimes I'm like, "Oh, I don't even want to eat it because I have to wash it." You know what I mean? So
yeah.
like having all of that done would be so nice.
Yeah, the fruit is a big one for me because I really wanted to start incorporating veggies and fruits into like our daily snacks. And so with doing that, it requires me to cut it up or prep it, the night before. But I usually buy one or two items, prep them, and then I'm like on to the next one after a couple days. So I found that it works if I prep for like the next 2 days and then get another fruit or veggie and prep it for the next 2 days. That
Yeah.
has worked for me.
Do you guys use a crock pot?
Yes, yes, we do. I need a new
Yeah.
one, but we do. We have this one recipe we really like. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but it's barbecue chicken with like some seasonings and vinegar and garlic. And you make it like shredded chicken in the crock pot. And then you bake baked potatoes and you put that with whatever other toppings you want on the baked potato. It is fire. It is fire.
Yum. You have to send me that.
Yeah, yeah, I will because it's so good. But that's like another quick one that I've done. Like when I'm working from home, I'll just throw it in the crock pot and it'll be ready when Austin gets home. And they cook for, an hour, 2 hours. So you have that time to do whatever.
Yeah.
I would say I meal prep our lunches, which is the hardest thing to do. Like I could pick out dinner and breakfast, but picking out lunch is so hard. Why is lunch so hard?
I don't know.
Like, I don't,
We generally do leftovers.
yeah, so that's a good idea, doing leftovers. But like trying to figure out what would be a good lunch. the next day without just eating snacks is very hard. But I've been prepping like breakfast so that I have that instead of just a fruit or whatever in the morning. But yeah, I'm open to any ideas on prepping lunches.
Yeah, lunch is like, because to me, lunch is always like sandwiches, and Eleanor doesn't, she's not really a sandwich eater. And then I feel like it also, you're not necessarily getting the nutrition that they need
From a sandwich. Yeah.
from a sandwich. Yeah. But I've seen some people, which we haven't tried any lunch meat with Eleanor, just
Oh,
because
really?
Rob and I don't eat lunch meat. Like, it's not, we don't eat sandwiches very often. It's not really in our meal. I don't know. But I've seen people do like buy turkey and they'll do like little wraps and like cut them up with the little turkey. So that's something I do want to try. I follow somebody on TikTok who does no cook meals,
Hmm.
which is nice because it's all stuff you can like throw together with like clean ingredients, but you're not having to like cook a full meal for the
Yeah.
child.
Yeah. We've done lunch meat, mostly because Austin eats lunch meat. I'm not really a lunch meat person, hence I don't like sandwiches, but Austin does. But Axel loves lunch meat. He'll eat that.
Yeah.
That and like cheese is like a snack.
Yum. Yum yum. One thing we do prep, like when Rob makes veggies, because we steam a lot of our veggies for Eleanor. So when we make veggies, a lot of times he'll make a big batch and then we'll have it like throughout the week to give her. Like carrots is she loves carrots and broccoli, so a lot of times we'll do that. She loves peas, so we'll just make like a bigger batch and then we can just like warm them up for her throughout the week.
Mm.
That's nice. I hate steaming vegetables. Oh, honestly, what I do, which is I don't even know if this is the best way to steam vegetables, but I will like put a bowl of water and throw the vegetables in the water and then put it in the microwave and heat it up and take them out of the water. Where Rob like puts it on the oven with like the actual steamer thing that goes inside of the pan or the pot and like actually cooks them like you're supposed to, but no, I just
Yeah,
don't.
there's definitely a difference between those two. Because I will do that with his peas, like take them out frozen and just warm them up. He'll still eat them,
Mhm.
but we always like to do it on the stove. It just tastes so much better.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I know. Eleanor doesn't care though.
You're right. Eleanor doesn't care. Another one is hidden veggies. So I try to incorporate hidden veggies as much as I can because sometimes they're not always loving vegetables. I know Eleanor likes vegetables, but Axel is not a vegetable person as much as Eleanor is. But some ideas might include adding pureed vegetables to sauces, soups, or smoothies, which I think is a good idea because, like, if they're eating ketchup or barbecue sauce or like a soup or something, that would be a good way to include it. Or mixing finely chopped veggies into dishes like meatballs or casseroles. I feel like I could get away with this with the meatballs. I did try to incorporate like carrots into mac and cheese the other day. We would take a
Yeah.
bite and then spit out the carrot and like he like
Yeah.
pulls it out of his mouth though. It's weird. So that's another way to help them get a balanced diet. It's just incorporating all the veggies you can mixed into other meals.
Yeah. I do like the sauces. Eleanor's a sauce girl. She's just like her dad. So she will ask for sauce. She's like, more sauce? I'm like, okay, Eleanor.
I'm a sauce girl too though.
Yeah, yeah, you are. I like the idea of like pureeing it and putting it somewhere as a sauce because I also think that's a creative, like toddlers like that. They like to
Hmm.
dip and I don't know
Yeah.
if Axel does it, but with some sauces they'll dip and just like eat the sauce right off. It's like ketchup and then they have a fry and they just like eat the
Hmm.
ketchup right off of it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he will do that with like spinach artichoke dip. Sucks it off
Hmm.
like of the chip. I'm like, okay, like you're not eating the chip too.
I don't think I've given Eleanor spinach and artichoke dip. I wonder if she'd like it. That's a good way to get spinach.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna ask you, does she eat chips?
No, the only thing we've like given her similar to that is Cheez-Its.
Mm,
And even then like struggles with them sometimes. Like I don't know if they're just too hard, but sometimes she just coughs a lot while she's eating it and it makes me uncomfortable. So I
yeah,
haven't given it to her in a while.
makes you nervous.
But yeah, we haven't given chips.
Well, he likes to suck on the chip, and then like slowly bite off
Mhm.
the pieces, which
Yeah.
I was surprised how well he did with chips. Like I was so terrified, like
Yeah.
he's gonna break it off, he's gonna choke on it, but no,
Yeah.
it was fine. It's fine.
She'd probably like it.
And she
She
has
really
more
likes her
teeth than him,
puffs.
so yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Another consideration is finding allergy friendly options. So there are a lot of challenges out there feeding toddlers. And then if you add in the challenge of feeding a toddler with an allergy or food sensitivity, it can get pretty intense. So I think it's important to always provide allergy friendly alternatives and resources to people who may not be yourself. So if you send your child to daycare or if you have somebody watching your child, like a family member or somebody else, make sure that they're aware of these sensitivities and maybe provide them with alternatives that the child can have to help mitigate that. Now, Eleanor doesn't have any allergies that we know of yet, so we haven't had to encounter this. What about Axel?
No, he doesn't have any allergies, which we're so grateful for. But I'm always like terrified we're gonna run into one when we're out or something. Like he's gonna like try something and like automatically be allergic to it.
That's how I feel about like nuts because we've introduced them, but we haven't been good at keeping them going. And I'm always nervous. Like next time I give her any type of nut butter or something, she's gonna have an issue.
Yeah, I've done because I really like peanut butter and butter sandwiches, so I've done that like every
Hmm.
once in a while, or like on toast or on
Yeah.
like pancakes or French toast to like keep it introduced, but it's hard.
Oh, that's a good idea with the pancakes.
Hmm. My sister loves that.
I tried to give Eleanor a peanut butter and jelly sandwich the other day,
She was not
and
having it.
no, she did not eat it. I'm like, I get it, girl. I don't really like it either.
I'm going to go right into our portion sizes for toddlers 1 to 2 years old. So, this was something that we dug into a little bit further just to like find out what exact portion sizes your toddler should be having for each meal in terms of like from fruits and veggies, grains, protein, dairy, healthy fats. It was kind of eye opening because I don't think I hit every mark on this area, but
Hmm.
I'll start with fruits and vegetables. So, you want to aim to offer about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of fruits and vegetables per meal. This could include sliced fruit, cooked vegetables, small salad portions. That's a good idea, with like a small salad to introduce to them. And encourage variety by offering different types of fruits and vegetables. That's also my struggle. I tend to offer the same types of fruits and vegetables because it's easy, right? Um,
Hmm.
but I'm recently like stepping out and offering more.
Yeah, it is a lot. Like a fourth to a half cup of fruits and veggies each meal, like that. I think it's so much easier with vegetables, or so much easier with fruits. Even Eleanor loves vegetables, but sometimes she won't eat like a whole half cup of something.
Hmm.
And it's just a lot to think about. I think the hardest thing with fruits and vegetables in terms of variety is one, it's expensive, and two, there's not a lot of size options. So it's like you're buying a whole thing of strawberries that are going to go bad in a few days. So you want to feed the strawberries, but you also want to provide them with this variety of fruits and veggies. So that's where we kind of struggle. Something we've thrown in are fruit cups, which are really nice and easy, especially if you're like traveling or going somewhere. You can throw in some fruit cups, but she loves peaches. She loves those mandarin oranges. So that's a nice, easy thing to do sometimes when we like run out of fresh veggies or fresh fruits.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Cause you brought one of those over for Eleanor, and I always get them for Austin's lunches, but I never give them to Axel.
Hmm. Yeah. So, in terms of portion sizes in grains, so grains is another thing, you want to offer about a fourth to a half cup of cooked grains per meal. So, this is rice, pasta, oatmeal. Choose whole grains whenever possible for added fiber and nutrients. Make sure that you're adding that into their meal. We do pretty good with grains. Eleanor loves rice. She also loves pasta. You can almost give her any type of pasta and she'll like scarf that down. Oh, and she loves oatmeal too. She would ask for oatmeal every morning if possible. Um, so we do pretty good on the grains front, I would say. Though we tend to do white rice, so sometimes she can get constipated because there's no fiber in it.
We always use white rice too. And we do pasta only usually maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, but usually that's like our go-to, like, okay, we had a busy day, we're going to make pasta for dinner.
Yep. Yeah, same.
Another portion size for protein would be about one fourth to one half cup of protein rich foods such as lean meat, poultry, fish, beans, tofu, or eggs. Or you can offer small amounts of cheese and yogurt for protein. We would definitely do yogurt, cheese. We've done fish, beef, chicken. We have not done beans though. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we've done beans. Eleanor likes beans. We haven't done tofu,
No, we
but
haven't
tofu
done
is such a
tofu either.
weird texture.
Yeah, I don't know how they would do that.
Yeah, I don't know either. Protein is probably our hardest. She likes white meat, she likes fish, and she likes eggs and yogurt and cheese. But anytime we make any type of like red meat, she doesn't like pork. She doesn't like when the meat's like drier. I think she has a hard time chewing and swallowing.
Mix it with
So
sauce.
sometimes we struggle. Yeah, with the sauce.
Yeah.
Gotta give it to her with the sauce. Yeah, but sometimes we struggle with this. Sometimes when she like doesn't eat anything, we'll just like give her an egg so she has
Yeah,
some
we always
protein.
resort with an egg.
hmm So in terms of portion sizes, you also want to consider dairy. So about a half to 1 cup of milk or dairy, or a dairy alternative per day, and spread that out over meals and snacks. So this can include breast milk, formula, cow's milk, fortified non dairy milks like soy milk or almond milk. I know my doctor specifically said if they don't have any type of like dairy allergy, it's good to give them whole milk. That's the best because it's going to have vitamin D and everything that they need in it. We definitely hit this. We hit more
Yeah,
more than a half
Eleanor
to
loves
1 cup
milk.
of milk.
Yeah,
She
we
does love her
probably
milk. I mean,
do at least 2 cups a day.
yeah. I mean, I would say the same. We usually do about 2 cups of milk. I mean, when she wakes up in the morning, we'll offer her like 3 ounces, but she doesn't always drink it. And then at night, she gets usually about 5 ounces, and then she might have a little sprinkled throughout the day. Now, if we're like out of the house, she just wants milk all day. It's like her comfort thing. So we always have to pack like milk because that's just like what she wants to drink. When she's upset, she always says milk, so it's very much a comfort thing still that she associates milk with, but
Mhm.
it is what it is. I'm sure she'll move away from that at some point.
Yeah, eventually. Do you use whole milk for her?
Whole milk, yep. hmm
So we've gone back and forth between whole milk and 2%. Honestly, I like 2% better, so we just buy that.
Yeah. Yeah, my pediatrician said the fat was good for them,
There's
like
more fat
the
in the
dairy
the whole milk, yeah,
in the whole.
which is what they told me
Yeah.
too, but I like 2% better.
I'm not a whole milk girly either. I would always drink skim milk growing up,
Oh,
and
okay.
Rob liked whole milk. But since we had the baby, we like just get it for the family. And it's not that I drink milk often or use it in anything, but if I do, I have to do the whole milk, which I've definitely gotten used to. But I was always skim milk, was what we
Yeah,
drank.
yeah, I drink milk, so I was like, we gotta have some milk I like here. Ugh, and the last one for portion size is healthy fats. So, small amounts of healthy fats in your toddler's diet, such as 1 to 2 tablespoons of avocado, nut butters, or olive oil. You can spread this out over meals and snacks, but really only 1 to 2 tablespoons per day.
How do you guys incorporate this?
Ugh. We don't like avocado anymore. I feel like mostly the fat comes from the milk or some butters, like some nut butters we do sometimes, but again, not super often. I don't like give him nuts yet either. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, we struggle in this area.
Yeah, like reading over this, I was like, really the only thing she would be getting is probably olive oil because at dinner time, a lot of the veggies that Rob cooks, he cooks them in a
In
pan
olive
fry
oil.
in olive oil. So they'll like coat some of the veggies, but that's really the only we don't I mean, she loved avocado as an infant when she was like starting solids, and I don't know what it is about recently, but I've tried to give it to her and she just won't do it. She's not a huge fan of the nut
Yeah, he won't
butters,
do
it
it either.
seems like. So, yeah.
Yeah. We're just gonna keep trying everything until we find something they like.
Yeah. And it changes. That's the thing is like, you know, one day Eleanor won't eat something, but the next time she's like, I'm in love with this. She loved cheese. She had this period of cheese where that was like all she wanted. And she like won't eat cheese right now. Like, what in the world?
Oh, toddlers. Yeah, we were the same with pouches. Like we loved pouches, and we stopped eating pouches. And now we're back to pouches. I don't, it's like a love-hate relationship.
We're kind of like that with pouches too, which is annoying because the pouches are
Perfect for on the go.
convenient sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he wants like real food. And I'm like, but this is real food. It's just in a pouch.
The last thing we want to touch on for toddler meal times is etiquette. So they're at a very vulnerable stage where it's important to start teaching them good mealtime etiquette, such as sitting at the dinner table during meals, using their utensils properly, practicing good manners. We have definitely been working on this. We do eat dinner as a family every night and breakfast. Rob will eat breakfast with her in the mornings when it's his morning, and I eat breakfast with her in the morning when it's my morning. I would say lunches are hit or miss depending on who's serving and what time we eat, but I think it's been really good for her to like sit with us and see and eat and kind of figure out the etiquette from like watching her parents. But she's been really good at using her utensils. I would say she's still in a stage though where she's like starting to throw food, or not starting, I should say, still throwing food. I would say it's gotten so much better, but she still does that. She still tries to like pull up her plate when she's done. And then when she's like done eating, she wants to get up now. Like she's done. She's like, all done, mama. Like, get me up, clean me up, let's go. And sometimes we're still eating. So we're trying to teach her that patience. Like, okay, you also have to wait because she eats so quickly sometimes. And she's just like shoving the food in her mouth and then she's done. Um, so that's something we've been trying to teach her. But she's really good. She doesn't try to like stand up in her seat without us or anything like that quite yet, but we're still working on some of that mealtime
You better knock
etiquette.
on wood because that's going to be there before you know it.
Knock, knock, knock.
No, I totally agree. Like I said earlier, we need to introduce the utensils a little bit more. He's almost at the point where he can get stuff on his fork and get it into his mouth. The spoon, we haven't really like you said with the yogurt. Like I struggle to just let him sit there with the yogurt. Like that's just so
Mm,
much work to clean up afterwards.
yeah.
But I will do it from time to time. And we have done very good in terms of going out in public and eating at restaurants. Probably because Austin and I go out to eat all the time. We've been doing this since he was 2 weeks old. So he's just used to it at this point. He does really good, like when he's done eating at restaurants, like he'll just like tell us or, start to pick up the plate and then we can move it. But it's really like the waiting for the food to get there. Like he's like
Mhm.
has a hard time, like, okay, where's the food? Like we're waiting for the food. So we always have to bring snacks between the time that you order the food and the food comes out. If they have a restaurant with bread, A plus, like we love it. But like other than that, he started like signing please and thank you. I've had a few times where I had to be like, okay, you need to eat more of your pancakes or sausage before you can have some of my French fries. And he'll do it like really fast. He'll like shove like 3 bites in his mouth and then reach for the French
Aw.
fry. And I'm like, how does he even know like what I just said to him?
They know. They're listening and they understand. I feel like they understand more than we give them credit for, especially when they're not as communicative. Like they still are like understanding.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and he does really good just with his sign language. Eleanor talks a lot more, so you know exactly what she wants when she wants it. He does a lot more like he looked at me earlier
Yep.
today and was like, "Mom, I want to eat." But
Yeah.
we are at the point where he's starting to try to stand up in his high chair. So that's been fun. So I never buckled him in, but now I have to start buckling him in at home. In the
Yeah.
restaurants, I always buckle him in, but yeah.
Yeah. We always buckled at home, but our seat is just way bigger than yours. Like when I put Eleanor in yours when we were over the other day, she just fits so like snugly and nice,
Yeah, like
where ours at
perfectly.
home
Yeah.
is just there's just a lot of room. And she always gets her foot up on ours. She gets her foot up on her like
Yeah.
my girlfriend.
I think if you have another kid, you need to get a second high chair and just get that one because I think it would be good.
I know. I might consider it. I
Or
just don't want
one
to
like
spend the
it.
money like if I have one.
I know, but you could always sell that on Facebook Marketplace and get
True.
yeah, yeah,
That's true.
and make your life happier. I don't know, I was gonna say easier, but it doesn't really do anything easier, it just makes you less stressed.
Yeah. The one thing I like about ours that I'm not sure if yours has, it didn't have it when I was there, so you could have maybe just didn't have it on there. But ours has like a tray that goes on, and then there's like a tray on top. So sometimes when she's just like, throwing food or whatever, we can literally just like pull the top tray off with all her food on it, and then we don't have to
Mm.
like manipulate anything else. We can just like pull that off, and that's like super convenient. That's the only thing I will praise about our high chair that I like.
Yeah, we only have that one tray and it pops off the sides. I wouldn't say it's hard to get off, but you have to really, like, kinda pop it off.
Yeah.
But then there's still, like, a bar there, so when that comes off, he can just sit in the chair, like, by himself, but we don't have the
Yeah.
easy pull away.
I do like that yours has the bar because that's something I'm always nervous about. Like, even though we do strap her in, so it has straps that go over her shoulders and straps that go around her waist, but the chair kind of like leans back a little bit. So if I were to put her shoulders in, she like would have a hard time like actually eating because you know how you like sit up and you eat.
Mhm.
So we don't put the shoulder straps on, we just put the waist on, and even then, sometimes she like leans over and is like grabbing the bottom of her seat with there's no tray there, and it really freaks me out. I like don't like that there's not a bar there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, ours is the same, like, it was helpful for when he was younger with the straps over his arms, but it kinda, like, leans back where, you couldn't reach, so I'm terrified to put it over their arms because if they are choking, I can't get them out easily enough. So I have
Yes, yeah,
always put
that
it
too.
on the waist only. But yeah, it was just like, okay, you can't reach it.
That's a good point about the choking. I didn't think about that.
My brother had that situation where they couldn't get Remy out fast enough. And I mean, he's
Oh,
fine now, but it was like the scariest thing, just trying to get him out of the car seat, like, or the high chair. They like had to cut the straps.
yeah. Oh,
So,
that is scary. What the
yeah.
heck? I just want to before we go into our mom era, because I want to hear like what in terms of like breakfast. What is your go to for breakfast, lunch, for breakfast and lunch? Like, what are your go to meals to give
Axel.
Axel?
So I started doing these like meal prep things. It's like in a muffin tin, but it's eggs, sausage, cheese, and hash
Yum.
browns. And so like I just make them every Sunday night, and I put them in there. And I literally put two in the microwave and heat it up, and then I take the scissors and just on the plate, just go cut, 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 because I cut the sausage up
Mhm.
even more. That's like been my go-to lately. Otherwise, he'll have yogurt, or we'll make him like strawberries, blueberries, cheese, and we had these French toast sticks that he loved. He doesn't like those anymore.
Oh, of
He
course.
loves sausage links, so usually I'll make those. But I mean, he loves eggs too. Like it's really those same things on repeat.
Yeah.
Pancakes too. Like if we go out to eat, or ham, he'll eat ham. But I'm scared to try bacon because it's too crunchy still. um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, it's really basic, and I try not to always do like pancakes or French toast when we're out. Like I want to do like eggs and sausage, but
Yeah, our breakfast is kinda like that too. It's like oatmeal, yogurt, and eggs are like our general 3, and then on the weekends, I usually make pancakes,
hmm
and then she'll get fruit mixed in with
yeah,
that. But I feel like breakfast is hard sometimes to, like, get
the
luckily,
good
she hasn't burned
nutrients.
out
Yeah,
any of that. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's hard for me to give myself good nutrients. That's why I started making those things because I'm like, I need something.
What about for lunch? What do you guys do?
For lunch, so we have those like broccoli and spinach bites. I don't know, the Dr. Pagers or something.
Oh, interesting.
They're in Kroger or Meyer. I mean, they're pretty much everywhere. Target, Meyer. But they're frozen bites and they heat up. They're like mush, right? And he loves them. Like I think they smell weird. I probably wouldn't eat it just because of the texture. It's like really mushy. But he loves those. So like I usually do 4 or 5 of those. I'll do cheese and I'll do like another fruit or vegetable. We've been trying dragon fruit lately. He likes that.
Ooh.
Or we did buy chicken nuggets. So we'll microwave those chicken nuggets and cut them up. And yeah, those are like my go-to. I mean, he's done like a tuna turkey wrap, like all these different things at daycare. So he's like exploring other like foods at daycare, but
Yeah.
like at home, those are like my go-to.
I know we do a lot of leftovers. We do a lot of soup too. Like she likes like chicken noodle soup and she'll eat the chicken. She'll eat the veggies in it and she'll eat the noodles, so it's nice and
Mm.
she even likes the broth. So we do a lot of soup. And those are easy on like days that we don't have anything to like cook. You can just do like a progresso soup or progressive or I don't know what that's called.
Yeah, he likes soup because when we go out to eat, he'll
Mhm.
always want part of Austin's soup.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
just haven't tried it at home.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else we do sometimes. I mean, sometimes we do like box macaroni and cheese, but that's like another easy
Yeah,
thing.
we
I would
do
say
that.
honestly, 90% of the time it's leftovers. So, like right now we have chicken in there. So we would just heat up the chicken and give her some more chicken and serve it a different way. So it's a little bit more creative and different. But the days that we don't have leftovers is like the hardest. I'm like, what do
Yeah.
we do?
Yeah. No, and we've saved leftovers like that recently since I last talked to you about that, but it's just hard. Like I feel like half the time I end up giving him those broccoli bites with peas. Like that's his favorite.
Yeah. I'll have to try those. I'll have to try like send me when you get a chance, send me like
I'll send them
the
to you
name of
right
it
now.
in a text, yeah.
Cuz they're
And I'll have to look
literally
for them
like
next time.
mush and he'll eat like 5 or 6 of them. He won't eat the sweet potato ones though.
Oh, okay. Oh, Eleanor loves sweet potatoes, so she'd probably get that one. Something that my friend Andrea did when I was over at her house that I actually bought this last time around is she bought those mini cucumbers and then she cut it in like a four. So it was like a sphere that
Mm.
the baby could hold and eat. And Eleanor, like, inhaled that, and so I bought some for her here, and it's, like, a nice thing to just, like, add into the meal or even as a snack because they, like, eat it themselves, so that was another thing that was nice.
Yeah, we've done that too. Austin likes to cut those up for Axel cuz I don't know, he really liked those cucumbers. And then he, like, choked on them one time. Not, like, choked, but, like, recently it was like, "Oh, okay." Then I just stopped giving them to him because I was like, "Ah."
That's how I feel about apples. She I swear to God, she, like, struggles to eat apples, but she loves them.
Yeah, I really wanted to start doing apples.
They I heard are a high choking hazard, so a lot of times we just give them to her in, like, these thin slices, like, very thin. And
Mm,
she generally does okay with it, but she always, like, coughs. I'm like, "Girl."
the coughing scares me.
It does. I know, it scares me too. I'm, like, better than before, but it still scares me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll send them to you, but
Okay.
they are a lifesaver for quick, easy meals.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, so should we go into our mom eras?
Let's do it. What mom era are you in?
We had our first toddler meltdown yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting it, but because he took another nap after you guys left, and then was kind of like, okay, you took like 2 long naps today. Like, let's go. We were gonna go to Bob's Discount Furniture, kind of figure out what we wanted to buy. So we go there, and he didn't want to be held anymore after like 10 minutes, and he wanted to just walk around. Well, of course, was walking around with him, and all I wanted to do was keep going in and out of the door, the sliding door. And he kept running to run out, like, and there's a parking lot right there. It's like, it's not like
Right?
it was away from the parking lot. So I'm like, okay, come on, back inside, back by dad. And he would just start crying, crying, crying. So I just like picked him up. I'm like, okay, we do not act like that. And I just like kind of ignored it. But would bring him back and then put him back down because he wanted to walk. And then he would make his way back over there. But yeah, that was a lot. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'll finish this transaction and Austin, you go walk outside with him. He literally got outside and he was walking around and he was fine. So he just didn't want to be in the store anymore. And I'm
Oh,
like, what
yeah.
the heck? So
It's
yeah, that
hard
was
when you're out somewhere too.
yeah. And like there wasn't really that many people in the store. And honestly, I was like, I don't care. Everyone can look at me, but you're gonna learn how to act in public. Because if you want to cry and, act like this, like we're gonna start doing it now. We'll start doing it now. I'm not gonna put up with it. So it was just a little bit more exercise when we were furniture shopping.
Fun. Yeah. That's how we were the other day. We went to Meijer and she was sitting in her cart and she didn't want to anymore. So we're like, oh, we'll let you walk. So it was so cute. She was like holding onto our hands and she was walking throughout the whole store. And now we're going so slow because she's slow at walking. And so it took us forever to get through the store. And then towards the end, she no longer wanted to hold our hands and just like go wherever she wanted to go independently. And I'm like, no, no, girlfriend. Like, and then she wouldn't let us put her back into the cart. And then by the time we were trying to check out, she was just like, I'm over this. But it was like 8 at night at that point, and we were like so close to
Mm,
her bedtime.
yeah.
And so she was just like over it. But yeah, we had a similar experience. I feel like they're getting more independent and wanting to do what they want to do.
Yeah, and I'm all for that. Go explore, go touch all the windows and the, tables and chairs and everything, but like you need to listen to me because you're not going to run out in the parking lot.
Yes.
So
Yep.
yeah, that's hard. The other update is we are going through IVF again. And so this time we've decided to go through an egg retrieval with a fresh transfer. So I know you already know all the details, but I'll start keeping everyone updated. But hopefully, once we get done with medications, we do the egg retrieval and we have a transfer. Fingers crossed I'll be pregnant, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yay. Yes, keep us updated and baby dust that everything goes good in your fresh transfer.
Yes. Thank you. What mommy are you in?
Well, I have a similar update. Very similar update to you. I am pregnant.
Woo! So exciting.
As we're recording, I know. As we're recording, I'm actually 9 weeks today.
Oh
And
my
so
god.
by the time this comes out, I will be 12 weeks. But I did have an appointment last week at 8 weeks to see progression, which was very early because in my last pregnancy with Eleanor, I didn't get to see anything until almost 12 weeks. So went in, baby's healthy, growing right on track. Heartbeat was good. Everything looked really good. So I'm I'm excited. Our like actual OB appointment was so long though. I don't remember it being that long. Maybe it's just because we brought Eleanor and she was also like done by the time we got to the OB appointment. So it was after the ultrasound. We had to wait a while and then it was just a lot. But it felt like it took a long time. But it was informative. I let them know I wanted to try a VBAC and he put me down to have more discussions about that, what that would look like and if whether or not I was a candidate. So I think we're probably going to have those discussions within the next few months. I don't really know. I assume we have that earlier than
I would assume so, but it
I
might
don't know.
depend on how like the pregnancy progresses, in terms of like
Yeah,
if there's anything high risk about it. I don't know. I don't know, I'm not a doctor,
I
but
know.
be
I don't know
curious.
either. Yeah, so 9 weeks. Next week we're getting blood work done, so we'll get the NIPT test done. I'll be able to
I'm so
figure out
excited.
gender and if I'm at high risk. I know. I want to know. I'm like, I thought about maybe not knowing the gender for this one, but I was like,
I
nah, I want
I
to know.
thought about that too, and I'm like, if this transfer and retrieval and everything is successful and we do end up pregnant, like I don't know that I could wait that much
I
longer just to
know.
have that surprise. Like it's
I
already like
know.
a chance that it even works, right? And like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I could do it. I want to do it, but I don't think I can do it.
I know, it would be such a nice surprise to, like, just give birth and then be like, "Oh my gosh," but I don't know. I'm not patient.
Me
I'm
neither.
not a patient person.
Let's just decide it
So
now. We're not going to be able to do
I know.
that. Yeah,
We're
especially
the
if you have a
best.
boy and if I were to have a girl, like I would need to prepare so many different things. So,
Mhm. Yep. For
yeah.
sure. Yeah, you could have all of our girl clothes if that's the
Yeah, we'll
case.
just flop flop clothes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's exciting. Congratulations. And you'll have to keep us
Thank you.
updated throughout the whole process.
I will.
So, yeah, because 9, I remember 9 weeks last time you were pregnant. I was in my like 2 week wait from IVF.
Yeah, so we're very close to, like, the same timeline in
Hmm.
terms of being pregnant together again.
Yeah,
So, I
it's
have a
meant to
feeling
be.
it just needs to work out.
Yeah, it's just meant to be. All
Yep.
right.
Yeah, so, the due date would be February 3rd as of right now.
Woo woo. So they did confirm that though at your appointment?
They did. Yeah, mhm.
I'm just like on the inside, I'm like, what if it ends up being another January baby? Like the end of
Honestly,
January,
it
it'd
very
be the
well could
same
be.
as Eleanor.
Like, literally, I feel like 3 days off, and I bet you if I do have a C-section, they'll probably schedule it
Like a week
a
early.
week before,
Yeah.
because I don't think they schedule C-sections around 40 weeks. I don't really know. Again, it'll all play out how it plays out, but my best guess is if I do have another C-section, it's going to be a week earlier, and that would put what would that even put us at? That would put us
Hmm.
at the
The 27th.
27th. That was Eleanor's due date, technically.
Oh, it was? Oh, yeah, it was because you
Yeah.
went early. I
Mhm.
forgot. Yeah.
Yep. Yep, we
Yep.
went on the 20th and said that they would be a week apart.
Well,
Like, on the same day too, the 3rd, because Eleanor's born the 20th, the 27th, and the 3rd, those are all the same. That is so funny. So
mhm.
even if I do give birth on the 3rd, that would be 2 weeks on the dot exactly apart,
Yeah, exactly.
birthday-wise.
Oh, golly. Well, we'll find out.
I know.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us on the Mom Era podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, just us talking about balanced diet, different portions you should and shouldn't be feeding your toddlers, and all of our tips and strategies that we've had navigating first time mom with toddlers and what they eat. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at momera_podcast and email us if you have any other tips and tricks that we should share at momerapodcast@gmail.com. Thanks again. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.